Hello guys, and welcome to another part of Exile video. Today we're going to talk about maps once again. We already have a first part of this video, which is basically explaining the basics of mapping, how to get a hideout, what are maps, what are tablets, and all that stuff. So if you miss information about the basics, watch that video first. There will be a link in the description below, so you can check that out and then come back to this video. In this video, we're going to talk about being more efficient while running your maps, where to use what tier of maps and stuff like that. And I'm also going to give you three different options for an atlas. And yeah, let's start first with talking about the maps, and then later on we're going to talk about the atlas. There will be a timestamp if you just care about the atlas and you don't really care about these things here. So let's give you guys real quick an example. I think that works the best. Let's say we are currently running always tier 11 maps. Obviously, if you run tier 2 maps, then just take this example as if I would say tier 2 whenever I say tier 11. So let's say we are running tier 11 maps all the time here, and we want to be in tier 15 and tier 16 as fast as possible. So we always want to have a chance to drop the highest maps, and we want to have a good map sustain. So the way how we do this is, well, there's three different scenarios on maps that we run. Four. There's like the waypoints without any area levels or bosses. There is the towers. There is maps with like +1 area level or just a +1 boss. And there's maps that gonna have a boss and an area level together, or even like maps with +2 area levels. So these are the 4 different scenarios that we can run. And for this, we want to use the maps that we run as well, a bit smarter. So in the tower, you always just want to rush to the console to then put tablets in. Tablets is a thing we want to always use precursor tablets to make irradiated on a map +1 area level. That's the most important thing. And then once we are having towers in an area where there's a lot of irradiating going on, then we can put in a breach tablet, a delirium tablet, ritual tablet, kind of what you want. Breach at the moment is the best, but they're gonna nerf it, so I don't really know how it's gonna look after the nerf. So just to tell you, do something else then. So if you're in an area like this, where there's a lot of irradiated maps, and this tower would be free, we would use it right now, then I would put in a breach tablet as well. So to have a chance to like get breach on the irradiated maps, which is then also a lot better again for map sustain, for XP, for everything else. Well, this is the case here because I cannot put anything in, but I would do that if that would be an option. So let's talk about the maps now. So for towers, again, we just want to rush to the console. I explained why. And we don't really kind of kill a lot of mobs. The layout of it is also, there's not a lot of density, there's not a lot of rare mobs. So we are running all the time tier 11 maps, right? And for the tower, we want to use low tier maps. So in this example, we could use a tier 7 map, just put it in and just run to the console. So we can put a tablet in. Again, the reason, not a lot of mobs, not a lot of map sustain, so not really worth spending all the maps that we are running in the highest tiers on a tower. Then on the waypoints, you basically just go with the maps that you always go. So let's say you have some tier 11 maps. So you're just going to put tier 11 maps in there as well. Then for the area levels with +1 level. So from time to time you drop tier 12. If you have a few, then you want to hold those tier 12 maps back to put them in this maps. So they will be then tier 12 kinda. If you put in a tier 12, it will be a tier 13. And sometimes you then drop tier 13 maps and tier 14 maps as well. Well, with that being said, in this example, we still have the most of our maps are tier 11 and we have a few tier 12 maps. And then sometimes here you get a tier 13 or even a tier 14 map, and you want to hold back on those maps for a really long time until you find nodes like this with well, it's going to be an area level or a boss, right? And then the next upgrade is basically one boss plus an area level or +2 area levels. If those two icons will be together, then we would put in the highest tier maps that we have. Because then we just have like, again, a really bigger chance to like get tier 15 maps, to sustain a lot of tier 40 maps, tier 30 maps. And with all of this, we always going to sustain like a lot of high tier maps because if we would run a tier 11 map in here, but we also have a tier 14 map, well, this is gonna be wasted for the tier 11 map, because we get so much more XP if we throw in the tier 14 map, and also way more map sustain if we throw in the higher tier map in here. On the other side, if we just have a normal waystone, we have a lot of tier 11 maps and just one tier 14 map. We will put it in here. It can happen that we just don't sustain it at all, so we just lose the map and we are at only tier 11 maps once again. So to make it more efficient, like put your higher maps into higher area level maps or with a boss. Really simple there. And yeah, I hope that's clear. If there's questions about this, just ask in the comment section below or just ask in my stream. Can be a bit confusing, but shouldn't be too hard at the end of the day. So this is basically how you rush into higher tier levels, and even when you are doing already tier 15, you sustain them, I would still go with that strat and just go from like always tier 14 to then put like tier 13, tier 14 in towers, and you know, if you don't have a lot of tier 15 maps, then put tier 14 in normal waystones and then tier 15 always in plus area levels. So that's like when you are in the end game. So still do that until you just sustain so much and then only run tier 15 from that on. Okay, that's it with how to upgrade your maps, how to get more XP and stuff like that. And then we're going to talk about the Atlas. So I'm just going to make a cut here and then I will show you the Atlas trees. See you soon. Alrighty, so we are in our Atlas tree, and for this video we're just gonna talk about the normal Atlas tree, so the one where you can get 30 points. We're not gonna talk about the little trees over here and over there. For this I already have a somewhat guide. We are missing the last 2 points, so I will make a guide for that later on. But how to get the 8 points, there's also a guide for that. I will also put that in the description below. And for the smaller trees here, we're gonna make a separate guide where we just gonna talk about this. But for now, this is what matters, and this is the Atlas where we always get points when we do the quest. Do 10 tier 1 maps, so you get 2 points. Do 10 tier 2 maps, then you get 2 points again, up till 30 points. So basically tier 15 maps, because everything gives 2 points, and 2 times 15 is 30 points. So that's how you get all the points. And obviously you're gonna start out and you don't have all the points. So I'm gonna show you the first and the easy Atlas, and I'm gonna explain you what to take first. So once we're starting with maps, we get points, as I already said. And then the first things you wanna take is the chance to be a higher tier. So we basically wanna take this area, not this node, just this area, right? So we wanna get all of this. And then we're gonna go down here, take all of this, plus this node, plus this node, because this gives us more mods on rare monsters, so more loot from them as well. It's really good. And then we want to do this here. Waystones found have a 20% chance to be a higher tier. Again, same reason why we take this nodes. And then we will take this increased quantity of waystones found in your maps. So this is like solving a lot of issues with like I can also sustain maps, blah blah blah. So the higher you go, the harder it gets to sustain them, but this also then makes it easier. So it is always easy to sustain them. It would just be harder to sustain them if you don't take nodes like this. Okay, so this is basically the first Atlas tree. And then after all of this, we basically have 2 options we can swap to, or basically we can swap around 4 options and pick the 2 that we want. So there's this part of the tree where we get more rare monsters. So more rare monsters overall, 20%, and 1 rare monster is going to be duplicated in the map. By the way, this is just 1 rare monster is going to be duplicated, not every rare monster. And that's I thought that too as well. I didn't read the 1 rare monster first. It is only 1 monster that gets duplicated, so this is not buggy or something. It's just 1 of all of the rare mobs in there. But still, it's still good. And rare monsters drop a lot of loot, so really good node. And then you have the essence tree here, where this is just increasing how many essences you get and how many essences the essence monsters actually have. So there's greater essences, they are really good for crafting. So for SSF they are really good. And obviously also for Trade League, if you just want to sell them and you don't want to craft with it at all. Some of them are really pricey, like 20, 30 exalted and above, at least for softcore. So that's an option as well. And then we have the two thingies that I didn't took yet. So I'm just gonna reskill here real quick just to show you what I'm talking about. So let's talk about this first. This is a node that corrupts your maps again. So sometimes, oh well, all the time later on, you will corrupt your tier 15 maps all the time, because the only way to get a tier 16 map is by corrupting a tier 15 map. And corrupting a tier 15 map basically works with Warlock, so you just throw it on there. So you want to make it rare first and then throw it on, not run it blue. And what can happen is basically it can give you a map mod extra. So like, as an example, more rare monsters, but it can also obviously give you like crit chance on the map, stuff like that. And with this node, you corrupt it again. So you basically want to corrupt them anyways. So they're always going to be corrupted, your tier 15 maps. You throw them in the map device and it corrupts them again. So just as an example how strong this can be, Valing, a map can give it +1 area level. So a tier 15 can be a tier 16 map. And with this node, it can get Valed again. So the tier 16 map can be then a tier 17 map with this node. Obviously, there's other things that can happen too, but just as an example. So this is really, really strong. And then you can also take this. Well, in this case, if you don't take the 4 nodes here, you can put this as well to get more essence. And this is basically doubling the effect of precursor tablets. Precursor tablets are the ones that irradiating your map, so basically +1 area level. So if you have this node, sometimes you can have +2 levels, so every 5th time. So you do a map with irradiated, again, we just take as an example a tier 15 map, irradiated, it will be then a tier 16 map in the opening, like when we open the map. And then if you have this node, sometimes it just gets a tier 17 map as well. So it gives +2 levels instead of +1, just with a 20% chance, so not all the time. So this thing, the essences and the Val corruption and the rare monsters are basically 4 different things you can skill to. So you can always swap between them. Reskilling here just costs gold, so it's not really too hard, so you can test a bit around. My suggestion for this will be go with essences and rare monsters first. These are mods that don't really add difficulty into the maps. And if you feel good in the maps, you can then upgrade the levels. And those 2 farm methods are for different loot, by the way. So the rare monster and the essence thingy just gives you more consistent money. But if you have the precursor tablets and the Val thingy here together, so like this 2, and then this 4 nodes here, then you can also drop, well, not a lot because they're really rare, so but you increase your chance a lot by dropping gem level 20 gems. They are worth a lot. They're really, really insanely good. So with those nodes, you increase your chance by a lot to get higher maps, because you need item level 84 to even drop a gem level 20. So you need to upgrade your maps in some ways with the irradiation, with the corrupted things, and this makes it way easier because you sometimes just have the chance to even further increase your maps. And talking about this method, it's basically like this. If you are in an area level 2, normal monsters and magic monsters always drop item level 82 items, but rare monsters drop 83 items and bosses drop 84. So if you are in an area with level 82 already, you can already drop gems from the boss. If it's 83, you can drop gems from the rare monsters. If it would be 84, then you could drop it from everything. But if my calculation is not wrong, you can never get an 84 map yet. Maybe I'm wrong. But then everything will be able to drop you a level 20 gem. And those gems are worth a lot. So this is more the gambling tree, and this with essences and rare monsters is more the consistent money tree. Although this is also really, really good for map sustain, like even better than this nodes, right? So keep that in mind. So there's these 2 options. So this is Atlas number 1 and Atlas number 2. And now let's talk about Atlas number 3. So we just cancelled here because I was just, this is my normal tree that I run as well. So I tested it. It works. So this is an atlas that gives you a lot of pack size. So it's just a lot more monsters into the maps. Also this year, so like some areas drop you more currency and stuff, but that doesn't really matter too much. Just a lot more pack size and quantity and stuff like that overall. And map sustain is also crazy good. Gives you a lot of loot, but the maps are way harder because you need like a good build that can handle a lot of different mobs, because you're gonna nearly encounter the double amount of mobs than you normally would with other Atlas trees. So it is stronger, so try it out. If you can do it, it is worth it. It's gonna give you a lot of money. The only thing that falls apart is the gambling thing, so feel free to like always swap something in and out if you want to have the chance to get level 20 gems. But this tree is the best for XP as well at the moment, and I want a level, so that's why I'm going with this. And it just drops a lot of currency, a lot of items. I got a lot of big ticket items. I sold a wand for 120x, I sold boots for 70x and stuff like that. You will always drop something at some point, right? As long as you know what mods are good and stuff, obviously. If you don't, throw it to the vendor. But yeah, so this is really, really good. And this is also the hardest atlas. So this will be atlas number 3. Well, you can just copy paste that if you want, try it out. If it doesn't work that good, you can always go back with like some of the pack size nodes and, as an example, take area levels, take essences, or something else, right, that you prefer. And yeah, that's it with this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys gonna have luck, find some good loot, and see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.